Old John Crabtree was the owner of the biggest orchard in his part of the country. He was also the father of 3 strong but lazy sons. Old John looked after his fruit trees with very little help from his son. Early every morning while they were still in bed, the old man could be found working alone in the orchard. He dug the soil, cut away all the useless branches from the old trees, carefully tended the young trees, and picked all the fruit at harvest time. Every evening after his work, he would sit on a log and rest in the shade of his trees. Old John would gaze and gaze at the long rows of apple trees, pear trees, and plum trees. Then he would sigh to think that soon he would be too old to give them all the care they needed. "Dear me," he would say to himself, "it is a great pity. I wish my sons would work in the orchard. If they did, I am sure that the fruit would bring them a fortune." There came a time when John no longer worked among his fruit trees, for he took ill and died. Not long after his death, the 3 sons met to hear what money their father had left to them. The reading of his will amazed them, because there was only this one sentence: "The orchard and the treasure which is there, I leave to my 3 sons." The sons stared at each other in astonishment. "Treasure," they shouted. "Isn't that wonderful? We will be rich. Father has hidden his money in the orchard. We must be very careful," said the eldest son. "If we tell others of this, they might steal the treasure from us." "What shall we do?" asked the youngest son. "We must tell no one about the treasure," said the middle son. "We will dig and search in the orchard until we find it." The sons then made their plans to find the treasure. They divided the orchard into 3 parts and worked as they had never worked before. They carefully dug the soil from one end of the orchard to the other. They even turned over the earth around the roots. Not an inch did they miss. Alas, after days and weeks and months of digging and searching, no treasure was found. That year, however, something happened which had never happened before. There was so much fruit on the trees that the branches were bent almost to the ground. The 3 sons were delighted. Never had they seen such a crop of apples and pears and plums. When harvest time came, the sons were kept very busy. The youngest son picked the ripe fruit from the trees, the middle son cleaned it, and the eldest son packed it carefully into boxes. The fruit was then sold to merchants for a very good price. One day the eldest son said to his brothers, "I wonder what our father meant when he said there was a treasure in the orchard." "Our father was a very wise and truthful man," replied the youngest brother. "There must be treasure there, only we cannot find it." "Do you know what I think?" said the middle brother. "Father knew that we were very lazy and would not take care of the fruit trees. If he said there was treasure in the orchard, he knew that we would dig and search for it. By our digging, we helped the trees to give us such a wonderful crop of fruit." "Yes," replied the eldest brother. "I think that you are right. Father was very clever. The fruit has brought us a great deal of money and made us rich." Each year, the 3 sons worked hard in the orchard. They found no money hidden in a box below the ground, but each year the orchard gave them another kind of treasure.